And let's discuss this now. I have joining me via Skype a member of the strategic team of Bring Back Our Girls, Buki Shonibare. And with me in the studio is the founder of Tosin Quarter International Foundation, Olayiwola Oluwatoyin. Welcome to both of you. I'll begin with you now, Buki. It's 2019, and these are some of the issues that we dealt with, growing up even as children. And in this year, one would think that by now we would have moved on from this issue. Why are we still here talking about the rights of the girl child?
I think every October 11 gives us the opportunity to reassess ourselves in terms of how well we are doing in relation to the rights of the girl child. While the challenges that we faced in the 80s and 90s, while they were peculiar to that period, there are new and growing challenges that girls face today. And when we look at the theme of this year's Day of the Girl Child, which is Girls First, unscripted and unstoppable, it is simply pushing that with today's realities, if we don't remove the barriers that stop girls from advancing and thriving and becoming a force, by not living a particular script and becoming unstoppable, if we don't remove those barriers, then we will keep talking about these challenges. And as you know, one of those challenges is that of access to education. It is in a bid to seek education that we had 276 girls abducted. 112 of them are still missing. Today being 2007 days since they have been missing. Leah Sharibu is still in abduction, Alice Ngada and several others. So if we don't remove these barriers, year in, year out, we'll keep talking about one challenge or the other that relates to the rights of the girl.
Well, in your own assessment, are we making progress at all as a country?
I think we are making progress, rather at a very slow pace. Slow pace, and we are not even meeting up with the standards that is globally acceptable. If you look at, for instance, Nigeria's budgetary allocation to education, it gives you an understanding of the fact that we are still not yet there. We are still talking about female genital mutilation. And, this whole thing we talk about when it has to do with access to education for young girls, we are still not yet there. There are still over 10 million children that are...
All right. Let me put you on hold and speak to Tosin here in the studio. She said we're making progress, but at a rather slow rate. Do you agree with that assessment that Nigeria is making progress when it comes to the rights of the girl child?
She's actually very, very right about that. We are making progress because it's in continuity, you understand. You can't get it at a particular time. We keep progressing. And that is why every year as we celebrate it, we are trying to run check on how far we've gone. And that's why I say it's continuity, it's just continuous.
So at what levels do you think we're making progress? Is it at the levels of the federal government, the state government, or even at the family level? Where exactly are we making progress, and where do we need to fix?
I think in my own opinion, basically, I think this problem is basically from the family, from the home. Because I remember back then when I was still very young, and the kind of challenges I had to go through with my other brothers. And before you know it, this kind of thing run through, because from the home, it passes to the society. So you can't actually place it on the federal government, but you have to, more of it is from the home. So I think more of the awareness should be from the home, because what you take from the home is what you take to the society. The federal government, state government, they only have little. They have a role to play, but they have little, unlike the home.
All right. Back to you, Buki. The stereotypes are there. We are aware of them. We don't need to list them, whether rights to education, whether female genital mutilation, they're there. But what can we do as a country to ensure that we make progress when it comes to the rights of the girl child?
I think we need to do, firstly, a state-by-state assessment of the state of the girl child in each of those states. And when we look at each state, we look at the relativity of each state in terms of culture, religion, traditions, laws, policies that are applicable in those states. But we need to benchmark or look at each of these issues, education, female genital mutilation, forced marriage, all of these issues with the reality of each state. If we do not do that, then we are lumping everything together. One of the things that we keep pushing for instance, is free compulsory access to quality education for children till secondary school. And with the call for the amendment to the UBE Act, for instance, we are asking that there should be free education up to senior secondary school, so from 9 years to 12 years. That is a federal level situation. But when you look at each state, you find peculiarity. So I think in moving forward, if we don't know where we are, we do not know where we are going. If we can do a state-by-state assessment of each of these issues affecting girls, then we can then begin to tackle these issues according to each state instead of lumping it all together.
All right, thank you so much, Boki. Let's come to you for a final question. When you look at today, it looks like, well, some people are celebrating, but as a nation, apart from the legislative arm of government have said, look, this is what we're going to do about it, we're not really getting people celebrating today or honoring the day. What more do you want to see from our society in how we honor the girl child?
I think, okay, when I was coming to come for this interview, I saw something from I saw some students when I was coming. They're girls. And I saw some descriptions on what they were wearing. I'm special, I'm this, I'm that. And that thing actually captured my interest. Why? Because I think schools are trying to like incorporate these things now. They celebrate them. They celebrate the girl child. So I think these things too, we actually pronounce it more. Schools coming to celebrate. And just like she said, I think there are a lot of assessment that needs to be done from the state level, from the federal level, and most especially from the local level.
All right, many thanks to you, Buki, and thanks to you, Tosin, for being with us this evening.